その方がお前さんだってきっと。
フェルメイさん、怒りますよ。
わかんない子だね。私はもうお前さんと普通になんか。
What an emotional episode of Vermeil in Gold this episode was. And this episode, like, it really kind of got me a little bit teary-eyed. I know that sounds a little bit silly, but, like, the emotional bond that Vermeil and Alto shared in a few different moments in this episode was really wholesome and, like, really was endearing and really kind of, like, elevated the episode and really, like, opened up my heart a little bit. Not as much as Alto, though. Alto's heart was full-on open. So let's talk about it. So, we have a few things that happened. Essentially, here's the kind of chain of events that occurred this episode. And right off the bat, just in case, I've been having to say this a lot, so I'm just going to put it out there. A lot of people have been like, yo, these aren't reviews. So I'm slapping scores on these now. So it's like, yo, that's the most review thing you could do. This episode was a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5, the good. It's a good episode. It wasn't great. It was emotional, though. So 7.5 out of 10, really solid episode. Some episodes have been better, but this was really good. So I'm just going to put that out the way. So here's the chain of events that happened in this episode. So we have Alto not being moved at all. He saw Vermeil in all of her glory, and boy did not flinch. He went, I'm going to go save my girl. I was like, yeah, that's right, Alto. You go save your girl, bro. Immediately love that. She kills him. She straight up kills him. And I'm surprised. Like, she, like literally, like, I'm a Charizard, come here. So she, like, drove her hand or whatever. Like, she drove it through his heart. And boy was just, like, annihilated. So I'm still surprised that he had any residual life left to do what he ended up doing. So she takes him out. He ends up latching onto her. You know, she ends up remembering what's important to her, which is Alto. He tells her, you know, like, yo, this is not you. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry, I got you. You know, he even, like, goes to, like, grab her face, and he, like, ugh. He falls away, you know, and poor Vermeil's like, oh my God, what do I gotta do? She hits him up with the gold mana, which I think really stems from him, but it's like a shared mana at this pool. It's a shared mana pool at this point. They get the wow of the professor. The professor, like, oh my God, gold mana. And she basically shares, and this kind of what I thought happened. This happened in other anime before. I was trying to think of, like, yo, when has this happened before to where, like, you share one being? The only thing that really came to mind was a video game that I played 5 years ago, Xenoblade 2, where the main character shares, like, a heart or, like, a gem or, like, an entity with the main female character in that game. So I was like, that kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And I feel like other anime have done that, where they share one heart or, like, one being, essentially. So she shares her heart with him. Now they're forever tied together. We learn that, yo, when Alto dies, she dies. If she dies, Alto dies. They have a whole really touching moment, really touching scene. Alto loses his crap not because, you know, she did that for him, because now somebody of her nature, a being of her aptitude, is now tied to a human life, you know, and she's got 100 years, maybe, you know. Homeboy is like 15 or whatever, so she's got, you know, 80, 85 years at best, unless the mages live longer. But regardless, she's tied to a human lifespan now, as opposed to the millennia that she could potentially live as a demon. So obviously, Alto's really mad, not because he saved her, not because she decided to share herself with him, because he's worried about his girl. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's okay if I go, but, like, you can't go with me, kind of thing. I thought it was emotional. I thought I really appreciated that. But then we have the whole entire professor stuff. Professor just gets yeeted and deleted. You know what I mean? Freaking Vermeil takes him out. I kept screaming, like, die, die, die. It didn't happen. Very sad about it. Lilia, obviously, she comes into play a little bit. She was losing her crap about Alto. Then we get a little bit later on in the episode, Alto and Vermeil are sharing their moments. Alto kisses Vermeil as Vermeil's trying to, like, you know, go away. She's like, I'm gonna go back in a book or something. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go live out my life. You live out your life. And then Alto kisses her, kind of cementing the I love you. I was waiting for him to be like, yo, I love you. I love you. He said it, but not in the exact words. He kisses her. That's kind of our episode. So overall, like, I think, like, thicker, like, bonds thicker than blood at this point. Like, I really feel like this episode is like bonds thicker than blood. I really appreciate the nuance that this anime can really affect the viewer. And I like how it's not just this etchy BS. It can actually invoke feelings in me, in you. And I think that's really cool. I love when anime is like multilateral. You know, I love when anime can, you know, world build, character build, tell a love story, be really cool sakuga, you know, do ecchi, you know what I mean? Not have a BS crappy protagonist. You know, I love when anime can do that. And Alto, for me, was solidified as a non-crappy protagonist this episode, although he did run away after he kissed her. But, yo, he stepped up. He was like, he went from like, Vermeil, to like, Vermeil, I'm angry. And I was like, damn, bro, manned up. He went, I'm angry right now. Even Vermeil was like, hold up. So I loved it. Like, I loved it. I love everything this anime can do. I'm telling you, when anime can be this multilateral and take on different, not genres, but different parts of what other anime get right and also nail it, I think that's really important. And especially when an anime can nail it 5, 6, 7 episodes in, you know, halfway through a season, it gives you more reason. It gives you more of an appetite, you know, to come back and eat more of it up. You know what I mean? Just like Alto and Vermeil be eating up each other's mana. So another really solid episode. I do want to see more of like the priest girl, you know, the holy priest girl. She was fighting some random being. They showed us she was fighting like some paper or something like that. So there was another, outside of the professor, there was another third party kind of like pulling some strings as well. So I kind of want to see what ends up happening there. And what's going to end up happening with all this other demon stuff. And the very last thing that I'll leave you guys off on is Vermeil did say something very specific. And she said that Alto now has a demon heart. So my first thought was like, oh, homeboy can now live out a demon's life, you know, like longevity wise. Is that the case? I don't know. You know, will he get demon powers? I don't know. Like, what does it really mean? I don't even think Vermeil knows at this point, unless there's history that she can pull from to where, you know, this has happened with a human before. So I'm gonna leave you guys in those thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you for being here, and I'm gonna see you, my friends, next week for more Vermeil in Gold.